Welcome back to 5 Minute Fantasy Football, presented to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast Network and also Underdog Fantasy. They're offering $1,000 deposit match for first deposits. Make sure you use promo code FFSGPN so they know we sent you. All right, let's talk about Week 4 waiver wire. Week 4 is already here, and let's look and see who is being added on Sleeper. You can see right here the number one added player is Jauan Jennings. Hopefully you picked him up last week. You were able to pick him up. And if you played him, you definitely were rewarded. But you got him very cheap, even if you just picked him up. If Deebo Samuel's not going to play, teams are still going to continue to bracket cover and give most of their defense to Brandon Ayuk. Maybe that slides a little bit over, but with Brandon Ayuk in there, he's going to be the main point of main point for the defense. And you also have George Kittle and Deebo Samuel out with Christian McCaffrey out. Really, a lot of the weapons as far as the passing game. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. I know that a lot of you say, like, hey, none of these guys are available in my leagues. I also just want to put a PSA out there. If you have 7 or 8 bench spots, maybe that's a little too deep. 4 or 5 is maybe a little too shallow, but most leagues it's 6, maybe 7. I get it. Highly competitive leagues are not going to have a whole lot of guys available. But if you take, one bench spot away, that's 12 more players that could be available. Jauan Jennings, Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, Minnesota Vikings defense, Emmanuel Wilson, Jalen Naylor, obviously Deontay Johnson's rostered, Rashawn Johnson, Calvin Austin, Sam Darnold, Brenton Strange, Brock Wright, Alan Lazard, Zach Ertz, Bucky Irving, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, Tyler Beatty, and Justin Fields. Those are guys that are being added most in leagues. I saw someone drop Mark Andrews. That's nuts. Biggest drops: Las Vegas Raiders, Demarcus Robinson, Ezekiel Elliott, Deonta Foreman, Jordan Whittington, Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Adonai Mitchell, Cam Akers, Tyler Johnson, Romeo Dobbs, Skylar Thompson, Brenton Strange, Zach Ertz, Gus Edwards, Samaje Perine, Blake Corum, Jalen Warren, Mark Andrews, Jerry Jeudy, and Cleveland Browns, and of course Hunter Henry. These numbers on Sleeper are possibly people that were dropped over the weekend, not just people were dropped. First of all, what are your thoughts about waiver wire on Tuesday? I have one league that does it. I'm not a huge fan. I always forget. But for me, it's just, it's too soon. Plus, if you have guys that are playing on Monday, it's just, for me, you need to wait till Wednesday to do your waivers. But let me know what you think about this. So again, here's my top waiver wire pickups. And we're going to start at the quarterback position. I'll just scroll this up so you can see the top added and top drop guys. Sam Darnold, if he's not picked up in your leagues, like, give the man some respect. He needs to be rostered. He's someone that he's shown up against tough defenses. He's shown up when guys have gotten hurt, and he's got command of this offense. Kevin O'Connell is absolutely balling out as a head coach, and we saw him do it last year with Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs. Like, he's a great coach. And JJ McCarthy in your dynasty leagues is an absolute buy low. Geno Smith. Geno Smith is looking really good in this Grubs offense. His defense looks good. This team looks good. 3-0 for Mike McDonald. I know some people question the hire with all the success Pete Carroll has had. But for fantasy football, this offense is fun. Zach Charbonnet looks like he's a must start. Ken Walker comes back. We could have some, more of a 50-50 split. But we've seen DK Metcalf be great. JSN is looking good. And Ty Lockett's still getting his, but at the end of the day, Geno Smith is the quarterback, and he's one that you can play. Justin Fields, he's been running at a very high rate, about 10 carries a game. I know they don't have a lot of passing options there, but he's been very steady, and he looks like he could possibly be the long-term starter. This is a team that's winning games, and it's hard to do that to the locker room, is to make a quarterback switch when a guy is doing this and he's playing mistake-free ball. It looks really good. Deeper stash. I'm going to go with, Andy Dalton. and I'm going to go with Drake May. Drake May is someone you can stash. You're not going to be able to start him now, but it's soon enough he's going to be out there. And we've seen him play a little bit. He's got some rushing upside that I think you're going to like as far as fantasy purposes. For the running back position, it really is, there's not really a good running back out there. But Bucky Irving is probably the number one guy. He looks like he could be earning more touches there. Rachaad White's dealing with a little bit of an injury, but Irving just looks like the better player. He's more explosive in the running game and in the passing game, and he's earning more touches each week. If you can get Bucky Irving, especially with Rachaad White dealing with an injury, that's someone that I'm going to target as my top running back target. I know Cam Akers is there, got a touchdown this week. Didn't look that great as a runner. And we don't know if Dameon Pierce or Joe Mixon or both are going to be back this week. Rico Dowdle, he got to start, but there is no running game. The only plus is that they got the Giants this week. But my number one is Irving. My number two would be Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen is someone that if he's not rostered in your leagues, he needs to be. The reason he's not my number one, he's probably not available in your leagues. Let's be honest. But the reason he's not number one is because Breece Hall is still there, and we just can't expect Braylon Allen to be scoring touchdowns every week. Bucky Irving could end up being the starter there for Tampa Bay. Allen would really take an injury for him to take stranglehold, but Allen is someone I'm definitely going to put some priority on, and especially if you have Breece Hall. The stashes, Alexander Madison, he's been getting more involved. Zamir White just doesn't look that good. Isaac Guerendo from San Francisco. I mean, we see how good Jordan Mason is, but he's getting a lot of touches, a lot of work. The next man up is Guerendo. And then Ray Davis. We saw him at the end of the Buffalo Bills game tonight. He's someone you need to stash. If James Cook were to go down, he would be someone that everybody would run to the waiver wire to dump all their fab, and you can have him for free right now. Go to the receivers. Of course, Jauan Jennings. Jauan Jennings is that guy. You want to go pick him up if you can. You're going to have to probably overpay. Hopefully you got him last week. Quentin Johnston, another guy you might have to overpay a little bit. He only had really one play last week, but it was a touchdown. 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks. You can't ignore that. I know that Taylor Heineke's probably going to be the quarterback this week, and they got the tackles injured, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot for Johnston. But as far as long-term for the season, he looks like a good play. They're using him in the running game. They're using him well in this offense, deep down the field, as well as in the red zone. Allen Lazard, I know he had, you went for it, and then he stunk it up on week 2, and then week 3 he's back. But he seems like a mainstay in this offense. Mike Williams is still getting back, from that injury, and they're airing it out. Tyler Conklin is the next guy as far as, the tight end position. But Allen Lazard and Tyler Conklin both had big weeks, and you've seen them more involved as, you look at the route run and the snaps and the air yards. It just hasn't, it didn't fall for Tyler Conklin in week 1 and 2, but we saw it in a big way in week 3. Don't forget about, your stashes. Jalen Naylor would be the stash for the receiver position. I know that receivers, it's really not a lot of options this week. As far and Yoshivas, I mean, maybe people dropped him with the whole T. Higgins thing, but Yoshivas looked really, really good tonight. And then the other one be Luke McCaffrey for the Commanders. Tight end, look for Cole Kmet. I know a lot of people bailed on him. You can see he's less than 50% rostered. Cole Kmet and Tyler Conklin are the top tight end pickups. And then Brenton Strange, he had caught touchdown tonight. Should be a good pickup. My deep stash would be Brock Wright. Sam Laporta's got a low ankle sprain, but if he can't go, Brock Wright is going to be the pick. And that's pretty much all you got there as far as the tight ends. Maybe see if Juwan Johnson or something gets dropped, and you can maybe pick one up if you're really desperate. But tight ends, you really just kind of sit with what you got and hope they turn it around. We've seen the offenses start to get a little better on week 3. I know that, we have the 2 deep coverage as well as the limited preseason. Offenses are finally starting to hit their stride. A lot more touchdowns this week. All right, I'm going to finish up with tight end with the defenses. There's really not a lot of great plays this week. I'm not in love with it, but give me the Raiders. I know they just got beat by Carolina, and that buzzsaw that is Andy Dalton, but they got a good matchup this week. Give me the Raiders. The Dolphins also are a team that has a good matchup that you're going to want to consider. But my number one defensive streamer of the week is going to be Houston. Houston is a team that you're going to want to go get based on the matchup. So this is 5 Minute Fantasy Football. As always, good luck this season.